I got 6 birds.
Good evening. Please be seated. What a glorious evening. President DeGioia, Administrator Smith, Mr. McCourt, members of the faculty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the commencement exercises for the McCourt School of Public Policy at Georgetown University. Yeah. It's a happy time. I'm Ed Montgomery. I'm the Dean of the McCourt School. In October 2013, we became the McCourt School thanks to the generosity of alumnus Frank McCourt. We were pleased that Frank could join us for today's commencement, and we're delighted to recognize the third class of the McCourt School graduates. You guys. Today, we assemble to honor candidates for the degrees of Executive Masters of Policy Leadership, Master of International Development Policy, Master of Policy Management, and Master of Public Policy. We will begin our ceremony with an invocation delivered by the Reverend Raymond Kent, following the invocation, Norberto Grivitz, the Dean of the Graduate School, will offer welcoming remarks. Please stand for the singing of the national anthem, which will be led by the members of the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers under the direction of Professor Frederick Brinkholder. Please remain standing for the invocation.
Bravo. As Dean Montgomery said, this afternoon is the third McCourt School graduation and the 31st conferral of the master's degree in public policy at Georgetown University. We gather to celebrate you robed ones before us, your research, your projects, your energy and passion for getting it as right as we can get it right today. We'll leave tomorrow to take care of itself. These gatherings begin with the custom of an invocation, a calling forth of a blessing and an expression of gratitude from and on you graduates and on those you hold dear. We're deeply grateful for a generous benefactor and a president, for a faculty and a staff who invest in you and in the noble work we share here. And a privileged moment it is to welcome the Honorable Gail Smith, who directs the efforts of this country in bringing relief and development to our most vulnerable sisters and brothers around the world. Give her strength, good God, and perseverance. We recall those who've laid the foundations for this school. Their work makes ours possible, makes McCourt an arena for research, spirit engagement, civil discourse. Keep us growing ever smarter and more skilled in achieving true progress and eliminating decline. In the year which has seen the university own its own history relative to slavery and apartheid, it is gratifying to see the descendants of our forebears Slave and Free, experiencing McCourt's Policy Innovation Lab, and countless other efforts, the work of 15 centers which touch the people of the District of Columbia and national and international communities of learning and living. Our gowns are worth as much as we contribute to this town and to the towns that make up our global village. We want to remember those we've lost this year: Kit Rome, Ashley Miller, a 2015 grad, and Deborah Ogden, who began with this Executive Masters of Policy Leadership cohort. May Kit's zest for life and humor move us all forward. The Torah and the prophets, the Holy Quran, and the Gospel of the Beatitudes stoke our imaginations and hopes for building a better world free of violence and hunger, disease and drought. Whether life hangs our paths with lights or hides us in some moments of gloom, we're heirs to what Francis and Clare of Assisi call the gifts of all the earth, of sun and of moon, of sea and of sky. Our call is to ensure that all can share these together as one. Help us invite the poorest of God's poor to the table of the banquet of creation. 73 years ago this month, Dorothy Day and Peter Morin printed the first edition of the Catholic Worker for a penny a copy. They asked us to build a kind of society where it would be easier to do good. We call down this same spirit upon you this day, on you, on USAID, on McCourt, and on Georgetown. Help us build the kind of society where it will be easier to do good. Can I get an amen? Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Dean Montgomery and Reverend Kemp. I'm delighted to welcome all our guests to this commencement ceremony for the McCourt School of Public Policy. I do so on behalf of Provost Dr. Robert Groves and the entire academic community of Georgetown University. We are a community of faculty, administrators, staff, and most importantly, these students seated before me. They will shortly become our newest graduates. As Dean of the Graduate School, one of my duties is to lead the graduate faculty in our mission to maintain excellence in graduate education. In addition, we seek to support the creation and circulation of advanced knowledge through faculty research and publication. The faculty, the deans, the Office of the Provost are working together to imagine a future for Georgetown University equal to its past. This future will meet the challenge of delivering the best possible education, both undergraduate and graduate, in a swiftly changing world of innovation and globalization. Therefore, I'm especially happy to share this day and this moment with my extraordinary faculty colleagues seated behind me. They take the educational mission of this university very seriously. They not only inform our students intellectually, but also form them as men and women of character who care about the common good. Therefore, we can safely entrust to you, the students, the reputation of Georgetown University. And more importantly, for you, the graduates of the McCourt School, we can entrust the future of the world. To you, our guests, and especially to the parents and guardians of our students, the faculty acknowledges with thanks the magnitude of the responsibility with which you entrusted us. We have worked hard to be worthy of that trust. Therefore, we can say today with considerable pride that we return your sons and daughters to you, their early promise fulfilled, and the promise of their futures dazzling. We are happy to celebrate with you this glorious day. This is a day filled with nostalgia for what is about to end, but is also a day with excitement for what is about to commence.
Our founder, Most Reverend John Carroll, first Archbishop of Baltimore and the first Catholic bishop in the United States, took legal possession of the land on our hilltop in 1789, and we mark that as our founding date. Our first student, the future North Carolina Congressman William Gaston, arrived in 1791, and our first bachelor's degrees were not awarded until 1817. But it was in 1815 that, with enrollments passing the 100 mark, the college president's Father John Grassi of the Society of Jesus asked then Congressman Gaston to present a petition for a federal charter, a document that still today sanctions the academic business we do here. It is our custom to initiate academic ceremonies with a reading of that charter. To discharge that office, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Edward M. Quinn, Secretary of the University.
An act concerning the College of Georgetown in the District of Columbia. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that it shall and may be lawful for such persons as now are, or from time to time may be, the President and Directors of the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia, to admit any of the students belonging to said college or other person meriting academical honors to any degree in the faculties, arts, sciences, and liberal professions to which persons are usually admitted in other colleges and universities of the United States, and to issue in an appropriate form the diplomas or certificates which may be requisite to testify to the admission of such degree. Signed, Langdon Shivas, Speaker of the House of Representatives, John Gaillard, President pro tempore of the Senate. Approved March 1st, 1815, James Madison.
Today, we gather here to recognize our students who've spent the past years studying the art of making and implementing public policy. As they embark on their careers armed with knowledge from our faculty, we are confident that regardless of the path they choose to follow, that they will be striving to change the world for the better. When we considered who would be an appropriate individual to talk to our graduates about living such a life, USAID Administrator Gail Smith stood out clearly. She has dedicated her life to helping people who might otherwise be left behind. First as a journalist, now as a leading policymaker, she endeavors to aid those in need both in developing countries and where humanitarian disaster strikes. The arc of her career embodies what a life of service to others can be. And in our sincere hope that our graduates will take a similar impact on the world. It is now my honor to introduce Professor Frank Wiebe, Faculty Director of the Master of International Development Policy Program, who will read the honorary degree citation.
Thank you, Dean Montgomery. The word enough often conveys the idea of mere adequacy. We honor Gail Smith today, a remarkable woman whose long career of public service can only be described as far more than enough. Her efforts to establish the Enough Project in 2006, with the goal of ending mass atrocities and genocide, and fostering the foundations for peace and justice in Africa, serve as an inspiration for us all. Indeed, the Enough Project's approach, combining the rigorous analysis of underlying historical legacies, political institutions, and economic interests, with active policy engagement and an unwavering advocacy for civil and human rights, reflect the values and ideals championed and cherished by the McCourt School of Public Policy and Georgetown University. In the 10 years since the Enough Project was launched, Administrator Smith has continued to advocate for sound policy making and strategic action, but her platform has changed. Today, she leads the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, the federal agency tasked with addressing extreme global poverty and building resilient democratic societies. Her team today is over 10,000 strong and works in every part of the globe to promote a development process that will deliver prosperity and personal security for all. She also oversees our country's response to global humanitarian crises, of which there are sadly too many. Before taking the helm at USAID, she served as the Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Development and Democracy at the National Security Council in the White House, and led an interagency process that culminated in the first ever presidential policy directive on international development, which was signed by President Obama in September 2010. That document reflects many values that she holds dear: that development is a process defined and led by local citizens and their leaders, and requires their active participation, and that the American government can and should play only a supporting role and must ensure that its assistance is as effective as possible, using rigorous analytical evaluation to determine what works and what does not. Now, as the administrator of USAID, she has the unusual opportunity to implement the policy that she so strongly shaped. We honor Administrator Smith today for her public service, but her impressive accomplishments as a senior official within multiple presidential administrations were made possible through lessons she learned during 2 decades of success as a journalist in Africa. During that time, she covered military, economic, and political affairs for the BBC, the Boston Globe, the Financial Times, and many other outlets, and was recognized with the World Journalism Award from the World Affairs Council, as well as the 1991 World Hunger Year Award. As a journalist, she provided the important public service of opening our eyes to events in Africa, and in the process prepared herself for her current role as someone who fundamentally shapes American policy in Africa and around the world. Administrator Smith has had the unique opportunity to play a leading role in improving the human condition, and she has executed that charge with uncommon dignity and care. She personifies the Jesuit ideal of serving others, and she challenges all of us to answer volatility with stability, injustice with rights, despair with opportunity, and conflict with peace. In recognition of all that she has done to foster international development, of her spirited and unceasing defense of those who are vulnerable, and of her compassion for and dedication to those in need of succor and support, Georgetown University, with sincere admiration, confers upon Gail Smith the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon Gail E. Smith the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. And it is now my pleasure to present to you Georgetown's newest alumnus, Gail Smith, who will deliver the commencement address.
Just as a heads up, this feels really good. Thank you all, and thank you, President DeGioia. I am incredibly honored to be part of this special occasion, and I want to thank Dean Montgomery for inviting me to be here today. And I want to thank you for not making me wear a hat, which I was worried might make me look like a bowling pin. But you all look wonderful. Seriously, you do. Congratulations to all of the graduates and to your families and loved ones as well. We all know how stressful it is to be around grad students, so you deserve congratulations and our thanks. This is a daunting time to dive into the public policy world. As a field, it's more competitive than it has probably ever been. And the challenges are about as big as I can remember. So I want to start by saying thank you to all of the graduates for deepening the bench and for choosing to help find the solutions to those challenges. We're going to need you. A few weeks ago, I was speaking to a group of humanitarian NGOs about some of those challenges and how we might tackle them, from increasing attacks against aid workers and civilians to the massive refugee crisis. And after I finished speaking, a Palestinian man came up to me. He told me he had grown up in a refugee camp where he first saw the USAID emblem, two hands joined together in peace and friendship. The man said that the image had comforted him during some of his toughest times, so much so that he wrote a poem about it years later. Now, he said, he has broad shoulders upon which to carry the burden of others because those hands of kindness reached out to him as a boy. I've heard stories like this over and over ever since becoming administrator and throughout my career. Like the story of Syrian refugee children able to continue their education in Jordan, all because a principal opened the doors of her already crowded school. "I will register your daughter," she told one mother, "if you bring a chair for her." Or the story of a family in rural Rwanda able to turn the lights on in their home for the first time because a business saw opportunity where others had seen only obstacles and worked to create a market where there wasn't one before. Or a woman farmer in Ethiopia who was able to increase her crop yields and better support her family and community, in part because the US government and NGOs across this country joined with partners all over the globe to invest in agriculture and nutrition. These kinds of stories are not unique to the developing world either. It turns out we all struggle with the same questions. We all face the same challenges, and we are all connected by our shared humanity. Today, in states from Arizona to Maine, refugees' welcome signs hang proudly at churches, businesses, and homes, a beacon of hope shining through dark rhetoric. And a family scarred by war and violence and tired of fleeing can find warmth and peace in the embrace of another family. A young mother in Washington, D.C. with a heart condition is able to get the health care she needs for the first time because someone in public policy in her government made affordable health insurance for all a policy priority. These are stories of the world at its best, stories of public policy and public service, whether through government, the private sector, NGOs, local communities, or institutions of faith, working as they should. Now, for me, the most rewarding work I've done has been when I've played some small part in stories like these. And I'm happy to say that it has accounted for about 90% of my career. I'll leave out the mailroom in college, though I will say that I was instrumental in getting the packages where they needed to go. Sometimes my work was as a witness and storyteller, sometimes as an advocate, sometimes as a public servant. But I have always felt most fulfilled when I was striving towards some higher ideal or goal that would ultimately benefit someone other than myself. I thought about this as I was preparing for this speech, and I thought long and hard about the advice I wanted to share with you. If you add up the years in the introduction that was given, I'm older than I used to be, and I today have a lot of young people coming through my door telling me where they might want to end up and asking for advice on the right next steps. So it isn't the first time I've thought about this, and I want to tell you the same thing that I tell them. As graduates of a school of public policy, and one of the finest at that, you will have plenty of opportunities in front of you to seek personal pride and to fulfill personal ambitions. But you will also have opportunities to leave the world a better place than you found it. I hope you'll remember that this is a privilege, and an extraordinary one at that. And I hope you'll remember that there is something bigger than you out there, and that it's worth pursuing. Because as it turns out, when you remove yourself from the equation a bit, and when you remember that everything really isn't about you, that's when you do your best work. And that's when you can have a real impact on the world. Now, I don't mean that you should be completely selfless. You need to pay your bills, take care of your families, and save for the future. But once you do that, don't just look for opportunities that will look good on your resumes. Look for the opportunities that challenge and stretch you. Look for the opportunities that allow you to change the world for the better. This isn't easy. With the day-to-day pressures you face, and whether we're talking about uncertainty, student debt, or a competitive job market, I'm the first to admit these pressures are greater today than anything I had to face when I started out. These pressures make it seem as if always plotting to get that title change or salary bump is necessary for survival. But there is such a thing as being overly intentional. If you're always calculating that next step, there's little room for new experiences and little opportunity to let your curiosity drive you. Now, in my case, my parents probably thought I was a little bit too curious. But when that curiosity pushed me to travel outside of the United States, I got my first real glimpse at the inequities of the world. I saw war, famine, and gross injustice. I saw a people who had literally nothing simply because they were caught on the wrong side of the battle lines in a war the world forgot. The differences between what I witnessed in Ethiopia and Sudan and my relatively sheltered upbringing in Columbus, Ohio, were enough to grab my attention and hold it for the rest of my life. And I'll admit this could be just a fluke, but I have followed that initial curiosity my entire career with new opportunities and experiences emerging around every corner, and I'm still following it today. That's an approach that I think can make us more effective policymakers. For one, thinking beyond yourself and your own experiences teaches you the value of diversity and the tremendous importance of perspectives other than your own. It can also help you work with people with whom you disagree. And believe me, there will be many of them. It will be your responsibility to hear and understand their perspectives and use what you learn to shape your own thinking. Thinking of something bigger than yourself can also help you avoid the pitfalls of well-intentioned ignorance. Too often, politics seems like a sport, with one side scoring points against the other. But I hope that's not a lesson you learned here in Washington, because governing is never a game. And winning the argument is never more important than getting something good done. And the truth is, you're going to limit your progress if you just talk to people where you think they should be. You have to meet them where they are. And to do that, all of us have to listen. Listen better and more. To practice good public policy is to analyze, craft, advocate, and implement. And each of those steps requires listening to the facts. And yes, those are still important. To your critics, to the public, and most importantly, to the people you serve. I recently spent some time listening, and I'm better for it. In April, a young Bangladeshi man was murdered along with his friend in his home in Dhaka. He was brutally murdered in an act claimed by terrorists, all because he believed that every person, no matter who they loved or prayed to, no matter what they looked like or what class they were born into, that every person deserves to be treated with respect and dignity. I believe that too. I know that you do as well. But for this young man, that belief and his willingness to act on it got him killed. His name was Zulhaz Manan, and he worked for USAID as one of our leaders in governance and democracy, and at the US Embassy before that. I went to Bangladesh 2 weeks ago to visit our mission there, and I went to offer what was surely insufficient solace to his family and to sit down with his colleagues to get a better sense of who this man was. I heard stories about his kindness and generosity at work, about his enthusiasm for his country and for meeting new people, about his activism for LGBT rights. He said simply, "My love doesn't hurt you, but your hate hurts me." I saw his desk decorated with a bouquet of flowers that had long since died. When I asked his colleagues about it, they said they had questioned it too at first. But Zulhaz told them the flowers were dried, not dead, and they were beautiful, and it was his choice to see that beauty. Weeks after his death, every single one of his colleagues was intent on being better, on doing more for the world. They want to look at things as he would, to see dried flowers where others see dead ones. They want to live up to his example and to carry on his spirit through their work and service. I understand that. Simply hearing his story made me want to do better by the world, just as he would have done. So even in death, Zulhaz Manan can inspire someone he never met in life. Even in death, he is able to have an impact on something bigger than him to change the world for the better. So the best advice that I can give you is to be like Zulhaz. Make the choice to see the good in the world and make the choice to fight for it where you don't see it. There's great power in that choice, and that power is yours. Finally, my sincere congratulations to all of you, but also, and importantly, my sincere thanks as a public servant, advocate, and citizen for all that you have done and will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Administrator Smith, for your tireless public service and for your inspiring remarks today. Before we begin the presentation of candidates for their degrees, I would like to recognize the contributions made by the faculty and staff who are my colleagues here at McCourt School. As students, each of you have studied with, been challenged by, and sought counsel from many of our full and part-time faculty members and staff. I therefore ask you as graduates to join me in expressing your appreciation to your teachers and administrators. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to introduce my distinguished colleagues, the faculty of the McCourt School of Public Policy who are behind me, and the McCourt School staff who are in the audience assisting with today's ceremony. We are now prepared to present candidates for their degrees. I ask Norberto Grivitz, Dean of the Graduate School, to come forward and present candidates for the degrees in course. Please hold your applause until all graduates have been recognized.
The graduates will now come forward to receive their diplomas. Assistant Dean Leslie Everts will present the graduates of the Executive Master of Policy Leadership Program. Professor Frank Wiebe, Faculty Director of the Master of International Development Policy Degree Program, will announce the names of students graduating with an MIDP degree. Professor Lynn Ross will call the Master of Policy Management graduates as director of that program. And Professor Barbara Shoney, Master of Public Policy Faculty Director, will read the names of MPP graduates. The faculty directors will also hood the graduates.
As Assistant Dean of the McCourt School of Public Policy, I am so proud to call forth the following graduates of the Executive Master of Policy Leadership Program: Eric Leon Atkinson, Casey Lynn Blackwelder, Benjamin Jim Boswell, Justin Andrew Carter, Kristen Watkins Coleman, Nicole Lanham Cundiff, Ferdinand Del Toro, Vicky Lynn DeLeon, Carmen Michelle Graves, Christina Lachey Graves, Timothy Allen Greenwell, Ryan Scott Hamilton, Rendell Henri Latin, Ryan Todd Maven, John Lawrence McClung, Lorraine Ann Mishorik, Jared James Popowski, Mitchell Dwayne Pitts, Leticia Judy Ramos Peterson, James Gordon Rupert III, Philip Lee Schatz, Stephen A. Stars, Jocelyn Denise Ward, and finally, Jane Ann Windholtz.
As Faculty Director of the Master of International Development Policy degree program, I am proud to call forth the following graduates: Alejandra Aponte, Alejandra Arietta, Delaney Brown, Catherine Brown, Bhishma Chowdhury, Rohit Chabra, Aaron Crossett, Claire Cullen, Lucy Beth Cutting, Robert Allen Dean, Jesus Adolfo Gallegos Segura, Sanju Lee, Tristan Lewis, Lauren McCaw, Tasmia Rahman, Ingrid Rojas, Anchita Hrungyutai, Caitlin Rowe, Luis Vicente Patricio Sotelo Farfan, Adam Trowbridge, Asad Zaman,
Sorry. Thank you very much.
As faculty director of the Master of Policy Management degree program, I'm very proud to call forth the following graduates.
I'm going to give you the card. Can you just give me the card, please? Sure. Thank you so much.
Tatiana Amador Oces. Pablo Arcuri. Troy Barker. Brian William Bifulco. Kyle Benjamin Brisa. Melissa Allison Bryant. Rory Jean Crisco Janker. Alexander Philip Covington. Sean William Donahoe. Lisi Añeros Riliag. Jason Ellery Franklin. Celia Gamstobach. Andre Georg. Virginia Gregory. Cody Ryan Grimm. Catherine Singley Harvey. Hiromitsu Hirasawa. Peter Sungwoo Wang. Patrick Christopher Ireland. Huakai Jaliba. Maz Dinas Jensen. Elizabeth Marie Johnson. Akiko Kawakami. Heron Kwan. Melissa Lynn Lewis. Mary Carmen Medina Mora. Robert Wayne Morris. Matthew William Perez. Troy Antonio Perry. Nicholas Benjamin Pickford. Ruben Alexander Rangel. Melissa Suzanne Reed. Thomas James Zachary. Jose Dario Salazar Bernal. Mark Timothy Searles. Rahab Shower. Michael John Smaha. Kevin Richard Smith. Christy Nicole Specht. David Matthew Spencer. Colleen Teixeira Moffat. Yukiko Tsuchiya. Daniel Christopher Werner. Shu Zhuan. Patricia Zavala.
As faculty director of the Master of Public Policy degree program, I am proud to call forth the following graduates. Taylor J. Adams. Vivek Agarwal. Sorry. Allison Yvette Aguilar. Miriam Akmal. David Philip Allen. Amshika Amar. Catherine Lynn Aledo. Lulua H. Ayub. Miao Bai. Sarah Marie Baker. Allison Sarah Beer. Jonathan Alexander Belford. Kristen M. Berry. Alexander M. Blair. Case Qutaiba Bouchard. Zhongyuan Bua. Jessica Bonilla. Akif Bulent Bushaya Oglu. Sharif Noor Buyashiolu. John Sullivan Caddick. Eliana Carlin Ronquillo. Kevin Robert Carrier. Junjie Chen. Mangfan Chen. Sarah Chofi. Jessica Daniels Clark. Amanda Coolidge. Jayan Dai. Hannah Cole Davis. Laura Maria D'Agostino. Inez De Marcos. Caitlin Ryan Demchuk. Jenna Allison Diamond. Chuang Dong. Natalie Roberta Duarte. Jillian O. Edmonds. Matthew Emeterio. Suzanne Michelle Falk. Brian Thomas Feetham. Jiawei Feng. Christine Ferris. Alexa Jordan Frank. Meredith Taylor Freed. Siming Fu. Alana Lee Fushillo. Lauren Stacy Gilbert. Amanda R. Gold. Joanna R. Guest. Ali Hamza. Paul Harchi. Joseph Dedman Havey. Alexandra L. Hillworth. Yue He. Danielle K. Held. Jenny A. Higgs. Tabea Suzanne Hoffick. Billy Hu. Weijian Wang. Nahal Jalali Farhani. Amir Hamza Jalani. Luis Felipe Jimenez. Laura Kim. Paul L. Kustoff. Christopher Matthew Cray. Wei Kwong. Sindhu Lakshmanan. Chenwei Lan. Andrew James Larson. Jeffrey Leonard. Peijian Li. Xiang Li. Yuchi Liao. Chong Liu. Sifan Liu. Tao Tao Luo. Xing Luo. Shalini Uyayabong Malaki. Renita Marcelin. Jordan Anastasia Messner. Megan Elizabeth Maraglia. Catherine A. Morrison, Erin N. Mullally, Elizabeth J. Murphy, Sarah E. Murphy, Alex Norwood, Steven Mayadrag Novakovic, Haima A. Oliva, Yuching Pan, Devin Charles Ringer, Yu Shen, Joseph K. Parilla, Shruti Kaur, Yogi Patel, Priscilla Alexandra Pelly, Suzanne Pfeiffer, Augustine Porras, Eric W. Price, Marissa Mary Putnam, Juan Qian, Brandon D. Riley, Kirsten Roster, Rachel Rush Marlowe, Manon Scales, Robert Louis Schneider, Chandraprabha Sharma, Catherine S. Shea, Robert Andrew Schell, Yubing Shi, Eric Andrew Sims, Patrick Spencer, Michael Sugimura, Jay Suen, Pooja Suri, Dwankamal Tanti Runkit, Megan Caitlin Thompson, Andrea Toomey, Lauren Justine Vine, Joseph John Vukovic, Divyanshi Wadwa, James Warboys, Emily Lucille Webb, James Weissmuller, Tomas Wind, Lucretia Ann Whitty, Chijin Wu, Darshan Yadanath, Jessica Yang Choi, Zenyip Yekeler, Alicia Yoshiara, Jianyi Chao, Lei Xin Ju, Catherine Michael Zekur,
Dean Montgomery, President DeGioia, it's my honor to present the aforementioned candidates for their degrees. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have been duly examined by the faculty and approved by the board of directors. I therefore ask that you bestow upon them the degree in course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degrees of Executive Master of Policy Leadership, Master of International Development Policy, Master of Policy Management, and Master of Public Policy. Congratulations.
You may be seated. Before I bid the graduates what I hope is only a temporary goodbye from the hilltop, I'd like to recognize the parents, relatives, and friends of the graduates who have provided our students with such valuable support. We honor and we thank you for your contributions to our students' success. Graduates, please join me in offering our heartfelt thanks to your family and to your friends. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present the president of Georgetown University, Dr. John J. DeGioia, to offer closing reflections.
Well, thank you very much, Dean Montgomery, for that introduction, for your leadership of our McCourt School of Public Policy. On behalf of our community, I also wish to express our gratitude to Administrator Smith for making this very special day that much more special by sharing with us the perspective and insight that she's gained through her life's work. It's a great pleasure and privilege to be here with all of you this evening to share in this moment with you, our graduates of the class of 2016, your families, and our community here in Washington, D.C. A word of gratitude to the many individuals who have been here for you, those fellow students, colleagues, mentors, and loved ones who have provided you with the support to help you work toward your aspirations to realize this dream. To Dean Montgomery and to the faculty of the McCourt School of Public Policy for their contributions over the course of this past year, throughout the time in which you've been a part of this community, for their commitment to excellence in teaching, research, scholarship. It's upon which we have built this extraordinary new school, and we are deeply grateful. And we are honored to have with us this afternoon Frank McCourt, member of our board of directors, who has shared with us an extraordinary vision of what public policy means to Georgetown, to our world, and what we might be able to achieve in realizing the full promise and potential of this university. So Frank, thank you for sharing this moment with us. And it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here with all of you, to share this moment with you. To each of you, congratulations. This is a moment for celebration. This is a moment grounded in all of your hard work leading up to today, in the experiences that you brought here with you in your decision to seek an advanced degree, and in the journey of exploration that you've taken throughout your time at Georgetown, expanding your minds and your hearts to be able to meet the needs of our world. You joined our community at an extraordinary time in history, a moment of extraordinary global connection, of potential and possibility, a moment in which we are faced with urgent challenges, from poverty and education to health and social mobility, which demand our most serious attention. 75 years ago, President Franklin Roosevelt offered a landmark State of the Union. And in his address, now known as the Four Freedoms Address, he described a world, quote, founded upon four essential freedoms: freedom of religion, freedom of speech and expression, freedom from want, freedom from fear. These principles shape the founding of the United Nations, of our understanding of human rights in a global context, words that now mark his memorial here in Washington. In his reflections, so prescient and so relevant to us today, he says, the basic things expected by our people of their political and economic systems are simple. They are equality of opportunity for youth and for others, jobs for those who can work, security for those who need it, the ending of special privilege for the few, the preservation of civil liberties for all, the enjoyment of the fruits of scientific progress and a wider and constantly rising standard of living. These are the simple, basic things that must never be lost sight of in the turmoil and unbelievable complexity of our modern world. These words, written 75 years ago, speak to the promise of policy, of the work that each of you will pursue to respond to the challenges of our time to build a more just and fair society. His words are both a call and a guide, an expression of our values and an aspiration for all of us. And they are a reminder that you undertake this work even as the world becomes more complex, more global, more interconnected. There is a role for each of you, a role that you are now prepared to play, a role that you are meant to play, a role that our world needs you to play. Today we celebrate a significant moment in your lives, the journey you've made to get to this day, and we celebrate the journey on which you're about to embark. This is an extraordinary time. This is your time. We are grateful for the scholarship you have pursued, the service you have contributed, the ways in which you have enlivened our community with your passion and your talents. We could not be more honored to share this moment with you. Congratulations on this very special day.
Thank you all for joining us today, and congratulations once more to our graduates. We wish you well in all your endeavors and welcome you as members of the Georgetown and McCourt alumni family. Please stand for the alma mater, which will again be led by members of the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers. The words to the alma mater are located in the back of the commencement program book. Please remain standing after that for Rabbi Rochelle Gartner to offer the benediction.
A teaching and a prayer. In the Torah, we read, Vayar v'hinei hasneh boer b'eish v'hasneh einenu uchal. And Moses turned aside and saw a great sight, that behold, the bush burned with fire, but the bush was not consumed. As we conclude these commencement proceedings, let us take this opportunity to turn aside and behold, to really look at this great sight, to see the fire and the beauty so alive in it. The radiance of the sunshine, finally. The warmth that flows between teachers and students, parents and children, families and friends, the resplendence of youth leading us all forward into a brighter future. Please join me in prayer. Dearest God, we are profoundly grateful for this moment, for in it lies so much of what makes life meaningful. We are grateful for these graduates who, having so many varied options, have chosen to set the course of their lives on the noble path of public policy in service of others. Our God, source of our hope, as today's graduates take their leave and enter this very uncertain world, may they do so with the radical, audacious faith that, like our remarkable honoree Gail Smith, they can and will make a difference. They can and will restore some balance to our off-kilter world, ensuring that one day every human being will experience firsthand that there is indeed enough justice and peace, enough safety and support, enough kindness and care, enough education and health care, enough love, enough dignity, and enough influence. If only we do enough to ensure that all these good things are justly distributed and lie equally in the hands of all of humanity. As our graduates touch the lives of people here and across the globe, may they be ever mindful of the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all of us indirectly. And so, dear God, we pray that you continue to shape our graduates into wise and just vessels through which your highest visions for all of humanity are brought into fuller life. Help our graduates trust that success comes not only when they bring what they know to bear on the world's complex issues, but as importantly, when they bear witness to what others know and what other people bring to the table. And in this work, may they find a deep and enduring satisfaction that transcends every single small success or failure, but comes simply from knowing that they are living their lives out in accordance to their highest visions and deepest convictions. Finally, as the graduates of 2016 take leave of this glorious place where every bush seems aflame with opportunity and possibility, may they know that their beloved Georgetown teachers and friends remain with them. We are here for you always to help illuminate your path as you go forth and set the world on fire. In the words of an Israeli and Palestinian band, yes, people can make music together. I close. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo salam aleikum, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. May our graduates and their families go in peace, and may they bring peace wherever they go. And let us say, Amen.
Will the guests please remain standing at their places until the faculty and graduates have recessed? You are all invited to join us for a reception in Old North, the home of the McCourt School in Dahlgren Quadrangle. The ushers will assist you in directing you to the reception. The 2016 McCourt School of Public Policy commencement exercises now are officially closed.